Hey guys, what's going on? So it is Friday. You know what that means. Another video. I am so hyped for this video for y'all. Like, I'm gonna drop some gems tonight or this morning, whenever you're seeing this. Even if you're called to see this like months later, like maybe this energy is for you right now. But I'm gonna be talking about the new moon that's happening next week. If it's for you within a couple of months or even years from now, I mean, by all means, like, watch this video and like understand like the energy that either your soul's trying to work with or you know, your guides are trying to, you know, I guess gravitate to, let's say. Okay, but let's go ahead and get started. I don't want to waste anyone's time. I don't know if this is going to be a long video because last night I was like channeling so much, and if you watch my story on Instagram under Tionnatells, I'll link it down here. It was so powerful to me. This is like one of the first times that I've actually just channeled by myself, and I explained this a little bit on my story. If you guys want to go ahead and skip to the new moon information, I have the timestamps down below for you. I like to ramble, but I also understand like getting to the point because I'm that type of person, but I also like to ramble as well. So you get the best of both worlds. The timestamps are down below if you want to go ahead and skip to the new moon things. But if you want to stay and watch the story and just hear me out, then, you know, stay. But okay, so I was telling my story last night that I was really hyped about this video because I just started channeling last night. And if anybody doesn't know what channeling is, it's just really sitting with yourself, sitting with your soul, and getting downloads through the divine, getting downloads through the source, God, whatever you believe in. And usually what I do for my videos, I will look at other astrologers that have been in the astrology realm for like 15 plus years. I've only been within like astrology for about 2.5 years now. So, and there's a lot to learn. But this time I trusted myself, and I was like, I'm just gonna take what I know, because I do know a lot about astrology. I pick up on things very fast. And so like, I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna take what I know, do my intuitive messages, because I'm a very intuitive person. I'm very sensitive. I'm double water with air. So that's just, you know, I'm a shape shifter itself. So when I was like, okay, I'm going to trust myself this time, and I'm not going to look at any astrologers things first, because what I'll usually do is I'll look at the astrology charts from the astrologers that have been doing it for years, and then I'll do my intuitive messages. But then I was like, let me just do my intuitive messages. And when I did, oh my God, like, it was beautiful. Like, spirit was just downloading everything for me, and I was just like writing it down. Oh, my camera's about to die already. Okay, we might have to use the other camera. It really depends. I have a lot of messages, but I might can you know, get through them. But so back to the story. I was so excited about this video because I got to do this and trust myself and trust my guides. And of course, we're in Scorpio season right now. If you're watching this, we're still in Scorpio season. We're still, you know, a couple degrees away from Sagittarius, but my perfectionist came in. I'm a Libra, Virgo Libra cusp. So my perfectionist came in. I was like, I just want to make sure this is right. I don't want to tell like the wrong information, you know, imposter syndrome. So I go underneath my emails and I see this article about the new moon in Sagittarius, and it was, I'm sorry if I keep looking up right here because I can kind of see myself. I need to look right here. When I tell you, like, when everything was synced, everything was the same as like the article, if not deeper. I was so proud of myself. Like, I was like, yes, like, and that's what I'm going to be doing from now on. So I'm just going to be doing intuitive messages with what I know within astrology, and then correlate it with my intuitive messages. So here you're allowed to not know astrology and also pick up on the energies that's going on within the collective, because I base my intuitive messages from astrology. Yes. And so with that being said, I kind of pull out realistic things. I'm kind of a motivational kind of speaker rather than an astrologer. So you guys get the best of both worlds. If you guys know astrology, that's cool. If you guys don't, that's also fine as well. You'll still get the same messages, and you guys will still come out with some gems. Okay, I'm just really excited to tell you guys this, to really share this information so the energies can work for you and not against you. there's always, where there's a will, there's a way, right? And astrology makes a way for you to make things easier. So let's go ahead and dive in. My camera's about to die. I have no idea when it's gonna die, but I might have to switch it out and everything, so the light might change, or I might have to switch cameras, so the lighting might really change. Let's go ahead and get into it. So if you guys like this video, please share, please subscribe, please like this video, please comment anything that you guys are going through that kind of correlates with what I'm talking about or what you guys feel. I love to hear everyone's like comments and DMs. Even if you aren't comfortable commenting, I do get a few DMs as well, so please feel free to do that. It'll help not only me but also my channel as well, and yeah, and it can just spread out and spread the word. So thank you guys so much for watching, and let's get on to the new moon. Oh, I wanted to show you guys my outfit for today. I got my red on for Sag, you know. And then also I got this cute shirt for my cousin. She used to make these t-shirts for the summer. I'm inside, so it's not cold or anything, but this is what it looks like. Oh, show you guys. How cute. It's like safety pins together. It's so cute if you, like in the summer when you're going out or something like that, you know. So this is what I'm wearing, and this is what you're gonna get because Sag season did not come to play. Okay, so you guys know how I like to start off with a quick summary real quick. Again, these are down in the description box, down below, timestamps. So we're going to be talking about 5 key things, 5 different sections. So first we're going to be talking about what's happening, what's going on in the constellations, what's going on in the collective, and how this affects you. And then we're going to be talking about the new moon, how the new moon energy is influencing us. And then we're going to be transitioning into what it's going to be like. I'm going to give some examples, some visuals, so for my visual people out there, you guys can get like an image of what I'm talking about, an example of what I'm talking about. 4th thing is the cautious things during this season. You know, there's duality, so there's high and lows. So I'm going to also give you guys the precautions, I think that's the word I'm trying to look for, just to watch out during this season, of course, because there are some really high things about Sagittarius season, and there's also some really low things about Sagittarius seasons, and we need highs and lows because there wouldn't be any balance, right? So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about that, and then the last thing I'm going to give you guys is some key tips and then some tools that you guys can use in order to let this energy work for you. So you want to stay till the end so you can get some really good gems, and then also some key tips that you can work with and what you can do within this season. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with what's happening. So Sagittarius ruler planet Jupiter is going direct on the same day as the new moon. Like let's just all applaud to that right now, like, to be honest, because Jupiter is such a, he's not like Saturn, right? He will coach you, he will allow you to expand, he will give you gifts, but he's not the one that is like really hard on you, like tough love like Saturn. Like Jupiter is more of like a, oh, let me give you gifts, like here you go, here's the expansion of the idea that you were talking about, here's the bigger picture of what you were talking about. And therefore, him being in Pisces, he loves being in Pisces, it can be very delusional, so watch out for that. But also being delusional isn't crazy. Like, you know, let's say that you have this big dream of yours that you want to chase, and you imagine it and you keep, you know, reiterating to yourself, you know, this is the dream I'm going to live, this is the life I'm going to live, and you're so delusional about it that it actually happens. And that's how some people actually get like their dream life. Like they fixate on what it is that they want, and they expand on it, and they expand so much that sometimes it accidentally happens, like, or it just kind of comes and they're like, oh my gosh, this actually happened. Like, and this could be like within, like, you know, saying affirmations every day to yourself, really programming your mind to really hone down on what it is that you want, what it is that you're trying to expand on. Like, let's say for instance, like for me, let's say that I wanted this this Range Rover. So, and I wanted a really big house. So I tell myself, tell myself these affirmations every day. I'm like, I have this beautiful Range Rover, and I say what it is, like this black, beautiful Range Rover and this gigantic white and black house. And I reiterate that, like that to myself every single day. Very delusional, right? But you're actually programming your mind to think that that is actually happening. So therefore you can attract things like that, okay? Because law of attraction, you don't attract like what you want, you attract who you are. And so if you keep reiterating that to yourself, your mind is going to be like, oh wait, that's who I am. Like, I am the person that has that Range Rover and that big house. And eventually those doorways will open for you because you're allowing your mind to expand a little bit more, to be a little bit delusional, to be a little crazy. Now that comes with, you know, some precautions. Let me make sure I'm using the right one. Okay. Yes, okay, precautions, I was saying that right. But yeah, it does come with precautions, and you have to be reasonable with yourself, but also dream big. Jupiter is asking you to dream big. Sagittarius, that new moon it's really good because it's not only Jupiter going direct, but Sagittarius is so truthful, and it's a fire sign as well, so it's very direct. So Sagittarius is going to tell you what you need, and Jupiter is going to expand on that, which is what we're going to be talking about a little bit later. So yes, get delusional, but be reasonable with yourself to make sure that, you know, you don't cause yourself, you know, down the line, some trouble because you're too delusional. Have that balance, okay? But dream big. Jupiter is here to give you those gifts. It's also in Pisces as well, so be careful as well. Okay, and then also Venus and Mercury is it's already in Sagittarius, so right now we are kind of already feeling the energy of what the season's going to be like. And we are, with Venus and Mercury being in Sagittarius, this really allows us to free think, to go deeper within ourselves, to really look outside of us and be like, okay, this is me, and what's around me is what I'm attracting. You know what I'm saying? So what is it that is missing? What is it that is missing from the bigger picture? Or what do I need to get rid of, or what do I need to gain? Okay, this is what Venus and Mercury are kind of going through right now, with it being in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius are really big, deep, free thinkers, and they're gonna tell it how it is. So this is an excellent time to be honest with yourself. It's an excellent time to try new things. It's an excellent time to be free. Like, honestly, within your means, okay? But also with Mercury being in Sagittarius, it can be very fast, direct, and also with Jupiter being its ruler of Sagittarius, it could be kind of again delusional. So just watch out for those. Be grounded, but also be free. Like, find those balances between the two, with grounding yourself and also being a dreamer, okay? You get a lot of mixed messages with Sagittarius because there's so many things going on. There's so many thoughts going on. Like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want this to be my reality, I want to attract X, Y, and Z, and it can get so much to where you're overwhelmed, or it's so much that you don't even want to do anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're just gonna sit back, relax, and just keep thinking about those thoughts because there's just so many going on. So be reasonable with yourself, write things down, do things that can really, I have tips and tricks for you guys at the end. So that's just a little bit about Mercury and Venus being in Sagittarius. So I'm hearing the song Living Young and Wild and Free. It's a really nice and refreshing energy, guys, and it can be a push-pull. This is like way different territory, but it's fun territory, but it's also deep territory too. It's getting us ready for the bigger picture, and that can be scary sometimes. So Mercury, the planet of communication, can fight with itself. So you might be fighting with yourself, or fighting within your environment, you know what I'm saying? Especially with Mars being retrograde right now, which is our vitality, our energy. So it can be a little like, you know, confusing, but things are coming in fast and things are expanding. And you can either take this energy and work with it, or you can just let it all be scattered. Because what is fire? Fire is everywhere. It can go everywhere, or you can control it. Like, make sure that you are controlling within your means, and you are building with your reasons, building within your means, building so it's not as scattered and you're just letting the fire roll. You're just letting Sagittarius run all over you, and you're not really looking at the bigger picture. You're just letting things happen, because then that's when bad behavior, toxic behaviors can start happening. You know, Sagittarius is in between Scorpio and Capricorn. Like, those are very dark signs, but you have to burn the ashes to rise up like the phoenix. So the phoenix bird. So we have to go through these things. So don't ignore this energy. Don't ignore your fire. Don't ignore yourself. I highly recommend you guys look at your Sagittarius placements now. The websites that I recommend, and of course I have services, you guys can get that down below as well, with my link tree. I highly recommend you guys to look at your Sagittarius placements and see what planets are in Sagittarius and what house, because that's going to be the main focus mainly. And so, for instance, mine is in the 5th and 6th house. So mine is all about creativity and work. As you guys can see, if you guys look on my Instagram, TikTok, like I've been up, if it's up, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been here and I've been doing a lot of things that I've, you know, for my bigger picture since February, honestly. But it's kind of coming together, especially with Sagittarius season. That's what I'm saying. It's a great refreshing energy, because this isn't something that is popping up out of nowhere. And for some of us, it is. For some of us, we suppressed it so much. We suppressed our dreams. We've suppressed ourselves so much that when it comes up, bam, when Mercury goes into Sagittarius and keeps ingressing until it goes to Capricorn, or our environment is like just changing like no other, it's like, man, like, why is this happening? It's because we were suppressing it like no other, right? So so for some of us, this is like, why is this happening out of nowhere? Why is this changing out of nowhere? And for the others of us, it's like, oh my gosh, like, this is such a great refreshing energy. Like, I understand, I get so much clarity. This is really exciting and also scary at the same time, because it's deep, and a lot of people don't like going really deep in their waters, because we are in a masculine world. Masculine world's very logical, very rational. It's very surface level. So no, people don't like going down the rabbit hole. You know, they're very scared to go down the rabbit hole, because they, you know, if you guys watched my video last week of the power of now, it talks about how the mind works and how the mind tricks us, because it's created a false self to keep us in survival mode, to keep us in just protecting ourselves through childhood, and how to get out of that box. Go watch that video. I did it last week. But anyways, people don't like going deep. And so when this happens, it's like, what the fuck do I do? And I got you, baby. I got you, okay? Just keep watching. All right, so that's what's going on. Jupiter is going direct on the same day as the new moon. So all the planets, you know, they're marching to the other signs. Jupiter is ingressing into Aries. Saturn will be going into Pisces in a little bit next year. Pluto is dipping its toe in Aquarius. These are huge planets, guys. These are enormous shift changing planets. So a lot of things are changing, a lot of things are progressing, and you don't have to, but it's way better to move forward with the energies rather than resisting the energies, because it's just going to make you fall back. It's just going to make you hold yourself back from so much more that is possible for you. This is such a good energy, guys. And if you guys need help, if you guys need clarity, if you guys need help with career, love, anything like that, my services are down below. Do not be afraid to admit to yourself that you don't know what's going on or you don't know what to do next, because you being vulnerable is the best thing that you can do for yourself. Vulnerability is not a weakness, okay? Being vulnerable gets you to the next place. It gets you to, it opens up the door, because you're going, when you're vulnerable, you know, when I was watching an angel number video this morning, and she was saying that how, like, you know, you being vulnerable, sometimes, you know what, like, people are so nervous to, like, let's say the other partner to see them, like, you know, without any clothes on, or just really scared of, like, you know, posing with a bikini or a boudoir. It's because it's a vulnerable state that you guys are in, and many people don't like being in that vulnerable state, you know what I'm saying? Because your sexuality, your body has to, it ties into spirituality. Spirituality is all about creation. It's all about vulnerability. It's all about being in that junk, that trunk, that feeling, like, you know what I'm saying? So you getting vulnerable, you being honest with yourself, and you telling yourself and telling your mind, hey, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm gonna find the answers, and I'm gonna get help, and they are gonna help me with this. Whoever it is, it can be me, it can be another person that you trust, it can be literally anyone that you feel as though that you can be vulnerable and open up to, and say, hey, I don't know what to do, or hey, I need you to be an open ear, because I feel like I can't go through this alone. It is okay to be like that. It is okay to be that way. And you don't have to, and like, this is the thing, like, especially with the older generation, they feel as though that they need to box themselves in, they need to be strong, they need to have strength and not be vulnerable with the younger generations. Like, I learned so much from kids, it's not even funny. And like, I don't talk to them about like deep stuff that they shouldn't know about or anything, but like just little lessons that kind of shape, that kind of configure around, like, oh, like them being by themselves, or them being like who they are and not caring, like, that is so awesome. Like, I love that. I love that kids can just be themselves and not care. That's a lesson for me, because I was not myself for so long because I was scared of showing who I really was, like, you know what I'm saying? And that's coming from a kid. Now, for the older generations looking at the younger generations, you guys can get something from that. And I don't want you guys to be like the stereotype, because the world, your mind, the world and your individual world is abstract, okay? Age doesn't matter at that point. So you can get information from a younger person versus an older person that has been in their box, been in their mind constructs. Thank you to my cousin, shout out to my cousin for giving me that word, in their mind constructs for years. And like, it's just, you have to let down your guard, you have to let down your mind, you have to let your mind stop tricking you, stop letting you feel as though that you can't be vulnerable to anything or anyone, you know what I'm saying? So just a little rant. Last couple of things before we go into what the energy is going to be like. So Mars is still retrograde, so again, our shadows are out. Gemini is the twin, so I'm putting this right here because this is us that we portray on the outside world, and this is something that we hide. So it's reversed right now. With that being said, our shadows are out and about, especially in this season right now. We're in Scorpio season, moving on to Sagittarius season. That's the deep thinker, that's the free thinker, that doesn't give a fuck, that's tells the truth, tell it how it is. And then Capricorn is the devil card in tarot, so it gets in those deep shadow waters. So it's hard to let our ego do the work, because now our soul is doing the work and seeing what it's done for the past years or whatever, how long you've been in that ego and in that identity, okay? And so with Mars being retrograde, it's moving to the second decan of the chart, and I'll put something right here for you guys to show you guys what I'm talking about. And so we were in the third decan of Gemini, and that is a placement of Uranus, whatever you want to call it. So a lot of our energies were either like up or down, scattered, who knows. Like a lot of shit was going on within our energy, within our vitality, within what we're fighting with, what we're fighting for. But now it's moving to Venus, which is in the second decan. So we have Uranus and then we have Venus, right? So Venus is a planet of, again, Venus is in Sagittarius right now as well, and Mars is a fire not sign, a fire planet, because it's ruled by Aries. But it's going into the second decan, and so with it being in Venus, we are really honing down and we are really directing our attention on our environment, and we're looking at it and we're like, okay, what the fuck did I build? Who am I? And what am I doing with my life? And Gemini is a sign that's ruled by Mercury, which is also in Sagittarius. So there's just gonna be some fire ass energy. It's gonna be really fast too. There's gonna be a lot of downloads, and I'll get into what the energy is gonna be like because it kind of correlates with the Mars going into the second decan. But really what this energy is about is really honing down and really focusing on our intellect, really focusing on our information that we're giving ourselves, what we're putting through with ourselves, because we do have free will to believe and be who we want to be. And so Mars is kind of, he's not in battle because he's retrograde. He's done fighting right now. He is, because Mars is a planet of aggression, war, passion. That's why Aries are just always going at it. They teach the world how to really go for what they want. And it's also the first sign as well. So they're ready for war. But since Mars is retrograde, he's tired. He's been fighting all this year. He says, shit, like, where's my drink at? Like, I'm done with this war. So him sitting back right now is allowing us to reevaluate what we are fighting for and what we are fighting with ourselves, internally. And it's really allowing us to evaluate what we want in our environment, what we want in love, what we want within ourselves, how we take care of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So I put this example, I want to read this. So we are moving from deep waters. It's like you just went swimming and you're drying off by the campfire, looking at the stars, feeling a sense of freedom because you didn't get eaten by any, you know, thing in the lake. If there's anything dangerous in the lake, you didn't drown. But let's say you almost did drown, like, you know what I'm saying? Mars is a scattered sign, like, you know what I'm saying? So let's say that you almost did drown, like, you know what I'm saying? But you saved yourself because you're a warrior and you're a badass, and Mars is a fucking badass and he can pick himself up, you know what I'm saying? But you didn't drown, so you're so grateful that you didn't drown, that you didn't get eaten by anything. Like, let's say someone was like, oh, did so-and-so tell you that there's these fish out there in these lakes, in the lake where if they bite you, you can, you know, get something. And you're like, no, but I've been in there for like hours. Like, I've been in the lake for hours. And so you're just thinking like, man, like, what if that did happen? What if I did drown? And you're getting like this sense of freedom of like, oh my gosh, like or not the God, but God was looking out for me. Source was looking out for me because I didn't know at the time that there were so many bad things going on within the lake. Let's just say that, okay? Or say the ocean, okay? Let's say that because sharks are in there. But you know how you go into the ocean, you're just praying that there's no sharks around, and you're going into like the deep waters. You're in the deep waters, but you have this like, oh, nothing's gonna happen. But these like bad waves are like coming and you almost drown, but you get to shore and you see that there's a campfire and you're like, oh my gosh, like, there's my friends, there's like the campfire, there's like, you know, they're making s'mores, like perfect timing, and you're feeling this sense of freedom because you saved yourself from you almost drowning. And it's just like, okay, let me reevaluate. You're thinking about your life, you're like, man, I just almost died and I survived that. Like, and you're thinking about how much freedom that you actually have. You're thinking about how much you can actually do with your life because you almost for a split second drowned. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that, like, the Mars energy is like. Like, you just came back from battle. You just came back from surviving that war with you being in your deep waters, and you survived. You picked up yourself, you swam to the shore, and your friends are preparing everything. It's really dark, so they didn't know that you were drowning, let's just say that. And they're preparing s'mores, they have food, and you're like, oh my gosh, thank you God for this freedom. You start thinking about your life and everything within it and how you can change it, because you almost just drowned and you saw your life flash before your eyes. That's not funny at all. That's not funny. It's just the example that they're giving me is just, it's funny. Okay, but real life things, that is not funny at all. But anyways, you know, they have the campfire rolling. You're so warm now by the campfire, aka Sagittarius. Your friends, they're having they have some wine coolers, you know, talking about some deep things, and you're talking about the situation that you just had, and you know, the people in your environment, like, oh my gosh, we didn't know this, like we were getting everything prepared. That's what the energy is like with the Mars retrograde, with the energy. Like, you almost drowned, but you didn't. When you came out, you saw your life flash before your eyes, and it's like, man, like, what do I do now? Like, I almost died. Like, life is so short. You know, life is so short. What can I do? And you're so grateful that your friends are there preparing, like, the fire, and you know, you forgive them for not, you know, seeing what's going on because you were so deep within the water, like, you know. So that is just a story. Like, I pray that your friends don't just leave you hanging, and possibly you were like in the deepest of waters and they were like, are you sure about that? And you're like, oh yeah, I can handle it, because Mars energy is like, oh yeah, I can do this, I don't care. They're very impulsive, so they do it anyways, you know what I'm saying? So these are just examples. These are not real life things, okay? But this is what I'm talking about with the energy. Now we're gonna get into what the energy is going to be like. So that was like a little mini thing of like what it was going to be like, okay? So let's go ahead and get into what that energy is going to be like. And these are the channel messages that I was going on and on about. And if you want to go ahead and skip to the part with the tips and tricks, that's totally fine. But if for my visuals out there, for the people that want to hear gems, motivational speaking, this is the part right here. So let's go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and start with the theme. Theme for this new moon is to get real with yourself. Be honest with yourself, because things are spicing up. Things are changing right now. Sagittarius is a mutable sign. So mutable meaning changing. It's always transforming. So this season, a lot of changes are going to happen, especially in your Sagittarius placements. Again, I recommend you guys to look at your Sagittarius placements, and again, I have my services down below, to see what is changing in your life right now, what is changing within the planets that are in Sagittarius right now. The Sagittarius season, so Venus and Mercury are definitely in Sagittarius season, but I don't know what house it is in for you. So your environment is changing, your love life could be possibly changing, your career might be changing, the way that you speak to yourself, or the way that you reevaluate things, your belief systems might be changing, going a little bit deeper within yourself, because Sagittarius again is a deep thinker. So Sagittarius is, again, between Scorpio and Capricorn. Scorpio is all about getting deep into the waters. They're very psychic. They already know what is. They're very powerful. Capricorn is all about doing the work, doing their due diligence, money, okay, physical things. So being in between those two signs, and also Capricorn rules the devil card in tarot as well. So being in those two shadow signs, and Sagittarius being in the middle, Sagittarius is an optimistic energy. Sagittarius is, yeah, I might be in the dark, but I know what my plan is. I know what my picture is. Like, you know what I'm saying? It knows a sense of who they are, but it always changes, and they get to know themselves so well. So when things change, they can be honest with themselves and be like, okay, this is who I am, so let me change accordingly to what works with me. So right now we are asking ourselves, who am I? This is like a time where everyone is kind of finding themselves, finding the fire within them, especially with us just having an eclipse not too long ago. That kind of shook up our world, and so our foundations are shaking. Our whatever we're going through internally, it is shaking, and in Sagittarius season is changing it up so we can work for it in Capricorn season. So everyone's finding themselves right now. Who the fuck am I? Ask yourself this when no one else is around. Family, friends, pets, anything, children. When you are just by yourself, meditate on this question. Who am I without these external things? You need to ask yourself that, because with us being in this masculine world, with us being in this man-made world, our soul gets forgotten, if that makes sense. Our soul gets for some of us portrayed, for some of us ignored. It gets ignored because of external things, and I understand it's very hard because of these mind constructs that society has built. Again, watch the video Power of Now. It gets to the point where our soul is like so fed up, and I feel like that's where we're at. Our soul is, our essence are getting so fed up with what is, that it has to change now. And that's why everyone is finding themselves, everyone's finding parts of themselves that they either forgotten or they suppressed, or they just blindly don't even want to look at it, you know what I'm saying? Because of the ego, trying to protect ourselves from the past, you know? It's asking us to move forward. It's asking us to change. So our essence are coming up asking, what is going on? What did I create? Who am I? You know? And so I want you guys to really sit on that question, to really be by yourself for a second. It can even be for 10 minutes, and just sit on that question with stillness and be like, who am I? Without the car, without the house, without the family, without the friends, they will always be there. But your soul needs you, like right now, to be like, who am I? And how can I make my life better? And how can I do better for myself? Because you cannot love other people or do things for other people or help other people until you can do those things for yourself. Because when you do that, you're doing that from a false identity. You're doing that from a place of vain, a place of, this is going to make me feel better. It's feeling a temporarily feeling within your wound, within your void. It's allowing you to have that short gratification rather than that long-term gratification, because you're just constantly feeding your ego with the external. You're constantly helping externally. And this is hard to hear, I understand. This is hard for me to understand too. But then again, I'm channeling, so it's just, I'm sorry if this is very harsh. But you have to understand that when we are living in our ego and we are helping people and we are trying to love others and we are trying to do this, we're trying to do that, we don't even know who we are internally and why we are so down, why are we suffering, why things happen to us and everything like that. We don't know, because we don't know our soul, we don't know ourself, we don't know parts of our soul, parts of ourself that we haven't accepted yet, because either in childhood it wasn't accepted, or in society it wasn't accepted, or just the way that our mind constructed our identity. Okay, so we're really honing down on, without everyone else in the picture, who am I? Who am I? Who are you? If you could tell me that right now, who are you? I'll wait. You know those teachers, you know those teachers that will be like, I'll wait. That's literally me right now. But seriously, ask yourself, who are you? Who is, let's say, I'm gonna make up some names. Who is Amber? Who is Denisha? Who is Bob? Who are you, you know? And what identity are you building for yourself? Is it helping you, or is it destructing your life? Is it destructing your mind? Is it destructing your soul? You have to ask yourself that. You have to be honest with yourself and let the ego go. Let it go. That identity, that false self, that's not going to create the life that you want, that you desire, that your soul actually believes in. It'll give you glimpses and pieces of it, but it's not going to be a long-term thing if you keep living in survival mode. If you keep telling yourself these same things, if you keep being stuck where you are, you have to change that, or else everything will still be the same. Everything will still be the same. So whatever you're going through right now, whatever you're struggling with right now, whatever you're suffering, whatever you're sacrificing right now, take a good look in the mirror and ask yourself, is this benefiting me? Is this helping my soul? Is this helping my essence? Is this fair? Is this equal? Is this balance? And if not, what can I do about it? What can I change about this? Because it's always up to you. The power of choice, the power of your consciousness, it is up to you and your free will and your willpower to get out of what you don't want anymore. So whatever you're going through, face it. Face the truth. Accept the truth. Accept the parts of yourselves. Accept the voids that you've been filling in with your ego. Accept that. Because no one else can do that but you. No one else can change your pain, transmute your pain, take care of your pain but you. And yeah, you can be like, well, that person did me wrong, or that thing did me wrong, or that place did me wrong. Even if you get that validation that, yeah, that's what happened, and they apologize, will that make you change? It'll make you feel better. It will make you feel better for the time being. But after that, it's still up to you to do something about it. It's still up to you to change the situation around to where you're not attracting the same things, to where you're not staying in the same box, where you're not, you know, projecting the wrong things that your soul has been trying to place you somewhere else. And you see that your emotions, your body will show you where those things are. You get upset, you get mad, you get angry, you get all these emotions. Your emotions are it's your navigation to what is truly yours, who you've always been, who you always were. It's a navigation to your life of fulfillment, to your life of enlightenment. Use those emotions, go deeper, face the truth, and accept that this is not working for me. Accept that this is what I have to change. No one can do it but you. You don't need validation to do that. You don't need someone else to come in to tell you that. Because you know where that comes from? Childhood. Think about it. Kids need that validation so they can move forward with what they're doing. They feel like they need permission. You're giving that place, that thing, that person power because you feel as though you need that validation to move forward. I'm getting a call, so hold on. Hey. I love my cousin. She's hilarious. Okay, sorry. That was my cousin. Let's go back to the creative flow. I just want to make sure I'm on track because I definitely went off track, like, for sure. I'm not only speaking with you guys in the collective energy, but I'm also a part of the collective energy. So the downloads I'm also hearing from my guides, it's also for me as well. So it's like, damn Sag, just like that. Like, and it's just like that. And it's just like that. So before I go on to the next thing, ask yourself these questions, and this is a tip, by the way, but it just flows with what's going on. So ask yourself, who am I? What do I need to accept about myself? What can I do to change my reality, my whatever you're going through that you're sacrificing or suffering from? And what can I do with my freedom? What can I do with my freedom? Sagittarius is all about freedom and thinking deep. What can I do with my freedom, with my mental, physical, spiritual, whatever plane your soul is focusing on for the Sagittarius season, okay? Okay, and the last few things of what the energy is going to be like, since it is again a fire sign, it's mutable as well. It's mutable as well, and Jupiter is all about expanding, and Sagittarius is very direct, and it's fire, it's just shooting bullets. It's going to be fast energy, okay? So you are going to be getting downloads from whatever you believe in, and that can either be with a thought, it can be not only downloads, I mean, but it can be downloads, a thought, an idea, even anything physical. I mean, when Venus is in Sagittarius, she's the closest planet to us, so things in our environment can be changing super fast, things in our minds can be changing super fast. But the question is, are you open to it? Are you open to saying yes to the universe, to saying yes to God, to saying yes to the source? Are you open to that? Because it's coming in fast, and it's only a window of time of where you can accept everything and where things aren't as hard working, aka Capricorn season, you know. I'm just giving y'all some hints, but it's not as hard because it's more freeing. It's not a Saturn energy. Saturn rules Capricorn, okay? So it's giving us this time to initiate these changes, to write down these changes, to feel these changes, to like experience these changes for our bigger picture. And it is, although it's fast, you can't be scared, you can't be fearful of this energy, because once Capricorn season comes and Saturn is here to straighten things out, to be that tough lover, you can't be like, well, you know, pointing fingers at people, because Sagittarius is giving you that energy. Jupiter is giving you that energy, that expansion now, so you can work with the energies for next year, so you can line up things for next year, okay? So this energy is going to be fast, whether that's with the thoughts, whether that's with ideas, with love, career, with your internal self, with relationships. Things are changing and going higher. Jupiter is all about higher education, traveling. You guys might be traveling a lot this time, around this time. You guys might be just doing your own damn thing, doing the damn thing, being honest with yourself, of course, being reasonable. Make sure that the energy is not scattered. You want this energy to be condensed, that's what I'm hearing, or maybe conservative to you, so you can build up that stamina, because again, Mars is retrograde, which rules our vitality, our energy, our passions. So you want to make sure that it's you are giving that fire to yourself and not everyone else, aka the ego. All right, be honest with yourself, what you need. You got to put yourself first. You have to put your mask on first before helping out another person. You can't help a sick person if you're sick too. You have to put yourself first. There's nothing wrong with being selfish, okay? Of course, be considerate, but put yourself first. Selfish isn't a bad thing if you're not taking away something from someone, okay? If you're not harming another person. Sometimes people need to be selfish in order to understand themselves. I know during this fall season, and this was the hardest thing for me, because I felt so guilty for taking the time out for myself, because I didn't know who I was, and I didn't know who I wanted to become, or what my soul was trying to portray to me, because I was such in my ego matrix mindset, okay? You have to put yourself first. No matter what projections you hear, you have to put yourself first so you can get better, so you can get stronger. Therefore, you can help other people, not from a vain place, but from a loving and authentic place, okay? And that's so much more long lasting than you coming from a prideful, vain, egotistical, and protecting survival mode place. And I'm just being honest with you guys. Like, when we do that, you guys know when that will happen, because you will feel like, oh, I do so many things for other people, but I never get that in return. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference between helping people from a loving place and helping people from a vain place. And sometimes we can't tell the difference because our ego will trick us, aka the mind will trick us to think that it is coming from our heart, when really it's coming from a place of vain, because we're trying to fill a void that our parents or our family couldn't fulfill, okay? Jupiter did not come to play. Sagittarius did not come to play either. Those two are hand in hand. Jupiter is in Pisces right now, so it's your time to dream big before it goes into Aries. It might feel as though that you need to do things right now and fast. Be careful with that energy. We'll get into those right now. The be mindful energies, and I don't know why I did that, because you really do need to be mindful. I need to be like this instead of like this. So be mindful with your energy, with what's going on, because it can get out of hand, okay? It can get out of hand. Jupiter is very optimistic. Sagittarius is optimistic. Again, they go hand in hand, so just be careful with the energies. But they did not come to play. They came to set things right, because they're trying to get you prepared for next year. They are here to change things on a mental, physical, and spiritual level here, okay? So let's go ahead and get into the be mindful things for you all. So the precautions for you guys, so you guys can understand the lows of this energy and what you guys can do to maintain and balance out this energy, okay? Cool. I'm going to change out cameras. The light might change, so I just want to let you guys know that. So the things that we need to be mindful of is that this is a fire sign, and it's a mutable sign. So yes, things are changing, but fire is very, it can be, if you don't know how to control it, it can be everywhere. It can be scattered, and I've been saying this throughout the video. So Sagittarius is here to let us see, let us feel, let us view the bigger picture and expand our mindsets, especially with Jupiter going direct. And giving us these gifts, these gems for the season. So it's allowing us to acknowledge what we need to do, or what we have to do for ourselves in order to get where we want to be, or who we actually are. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's really up to you, aka your essence and your soul. And in order to know that, and in order to learn that, you have to learn about yourself. You have to love yourself first. You have to take care and cater to yourself first, so you can be the best version of yourself and create the life that you want to create, instead of being in survival mode, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna read this to you guys. So if I look down, that's exactly why, because I do not want this camera to die. So the second thing is that Mars is in retrograde, and of course, if you guys have not seen my new moon eclipse video, I talk all about that and how that kind of correlates with what is right now. So if you want to watch that video, go ahead, and I really highly recommend you watching that whole entire video, because it will connect the dots to what's going on right now with the energies. If you have time, watch the video afterwards on, I think it's called like your focus point, because if you know your sun sign, you guys can kind of get a glimpse of what is. And if you guys know your moon and rising, you guys can get for your rising, you guys can get a blueprint of what's going on right now for you. And then also with your moon, it's more of a subjective view, so what you feel and what your feelings are going through right now, and just how your subjective view is right now and what it needs to focus on, okay? Watching that video can really help tie into what's going on right now. The reason I'm telling you guys this is to be mindful about this. It's Mars retrograde. It's because we're all in our shadows right now, and we can't contain it. We can't control it really. One, because Mars is in Gemini, and I talk about how the twins, how we're in our twin rather than our ego. In our twin. Okay, you see this card right here? Oh, hopefully it focuses. So you see how this person is right here. This is us portraying, and this card is actually full moon in Gemini. And so you see how this person is out looking out, and this person is their eyes closed. So this is what I'm talking about. This is the person that we portray to the world, and this is who we truly are, and we're trying to integrate both of them together. So in order to do that, we have to shatter our ego, shatter this identity that we've built for ourselves in order to integrate the shadow that we're actually in right now. So while people are in their shadow stage right now, it's a really good time to practice compassion and patience, because we don't know how, we have to work with our shadows, and we really don't know how to do that, because again, if you guys watch my full moon, or not my full moon, my new moon video, it talks about how our ego since, I want to say, September has been completely shattered. And the reason why we are the way we are right now is because we are completely in our shadow. So our egos got shattered in, no, not September, October, I'm sorry, the beginning of October, the full moon in Aries, which was October 10th. And then Mars went retrograde October 28th, I want to say, which allowed our shadow, so that picture, that person that was in the front is now in the background. I want to make sure I'm focused. The person is in the background now, and now the shadow is portraying and doing all the things. So, and this also has to do with your shadow. Your shadow is connected to your inner child, aka your soul. This all kind of ties in together of who you truly are, the parts of you that you suppressed, the parts of you that you rejected because of childhood, because of society. It is in the forefront right now. So you're in your shadows. Everyone is in their shadow, taking a look around, taking a scoop, aka Mercury and Sagittarius, or Mercury and Venus being in Sagittarius right now. You guys are looking around, gathering up this information, what you've built for yourself, what your ego has built, this identity that is now dying off because of the full moon in Aries. If you watched that new moon video, I'll tag it down below as well. It's watching what we built, and then also what we've been experiencing and what we've been hiding. Why? You have to watch that video, because it will tell you everything that you need to know. It will connect the dots to what I'm talking about now. So if you want to go down the rabbit hole and connect those dots, go to that new moon video, and I have a full moon section, and it tells you all about the full moon in Aries and how the October 10th moon, the full moon, it correlates with what's going on right now. Because it doesn't only talk about the Mars being in Gemini, it goes in depth with our wounds as well. You have to go watch that video, because I'm not going to explain, because I want to keep this as short as I can, and I know it's already really long. So if you want to go down that rabbit hole, go to the full moon section and understand the full moon in Aries and how it correlates with this today. And if you guys really want to do individual things or watch the individual things for you, go to the video, your focus point, because I do each sign on what you guys need to focus on during this time. Now, when I say hold compassion and patience for another person, because they will be projecting their shadows, you will be feeling their shadows, I'm not saying make excuses for that person. Like, I'm not saying if that person is disrespecting you or hitting you or something that has crossed a boundary that's violating you and your presence and your essence, don't let that slide, you know what I'm saying? But if it's something that is not even on your level, just have compassion and like have patience for that person, because everyone is living in their shadows right now. We can't help that. We can control it, but we can't help that Mars is in retrograde, aka our energy is down, and also Chiron is in the healer is in Aries, which ties into Mars being in Gemini with the other twin. Like, we can't help what's going on in the stars, but we can help and control our observations and control our perceptions as well. So have that compassion and patience for one another. But if someone steps across the line or violates across the line, of course, say something and do what you got to do, you know what I'm saying, for yourself. because you don't want to be disrespecting yourself. Keep this in mind, that people only love you with the level that they love themselves, okay? So if someone is very projecting a lot of negativity, that's because that's how they deal with themselves. That's how they love themselves. Like, you know what I'm saying? They can only love you to the level that they love themselves. Remember that during this time, okay? That is very vital, okay? And that's why I say hold compassion and patience for the other person, all right? I'm just telling you guys these things because I want these energies to work for you instead of against you, because I don't want you guys to take things personally when you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? That's like, if you guys read the 4 agreements, that's what he talks about. Do not take words or like spells. Do not take things personally, because when you do, then you internalize it. I talked about this with my cousin the other day and how much I had to let go of a lot of people because I internalized everything. And in order for me to not internalize things, I had to shut everyone out. Understand who I am, shed everything that I thought I was, and rebuild myself. And that's what we're doing right now. So with us being our shadow, Sagittarius season can feel scattered. It can be very like, oh my gosh, what the fuck is going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Either internally or going on externally. And so just really working with the energy. Knowing our Sagittarius placements, we can see some parts of us and sides of us that we have been suppressing, rejecting, or just haven't been accepting at all. Again, for my people out there that do suppress, repress, they live by and on their ego, you will know this if you feel very negative or very down or very in those low emotions, like you will feel that. For the people that are in that stage right now, in that state of being, that is totally okay. You know, you gotta go through those things to go to you have to go low to go high, okay? People, when they are when they're in their lowest position, they can't go lower. And so the only thing that is going up, like, you know what I'm saying? So if you guys are in that position and you guys feel that, that's your behavior, observe those things. Watch my video Power of Now, that can help a lot. That's not my point. If you guys are in the lower states of being, this information, these ideas, these thoughts, these the external world, the changes can pop up out of nowhere, okay? And you can feel as though, why is this happening to me? This isn't supposed to be happening. Why all of these lower vibrational things, all of these lower vibrational perspectives can be channeling through yourself, projecting out into the world, because it hits out of nowhere, because you have either suppressed something, you haven't accepted something, you've been rejecting something. So this is the time, Sagittarius is the season to be honest and be open with yourself. Have that compassion for yourself and really learn how to work with your waters. Learn how to work with the deep waters that you feel like you can't work with. Again, that's why I said being vulnerable is key at this time. Being vulnerable in general is key, because when you can trust other people. I know it's hard to trust people, because sometimes when you don't trust anyone, it's because you don't trust yourself. You know what I'm saying? Everything that is outside of you is a reflection inside of you, okay? So if you don't trust anyone else, then there's something that you don't trust within yourself. There's something that you don't something happened and you just felt like you couldn't trust yourself, or maybe your parents told you everything that you needed to know, so you feel as though you have to look out on the external because your parents always told you what to do, okay? And so you never really trusted yourself. So this time is a really good time to be open to new things and be open for to be vulnerable for yourself or to yourself. And if you don't want to have the external world to be heavy, or have help from someone that you can trust, or that you can find online, like maybe a coach or even me as a healer, like if you don't want to go that route, I highly recommend the tips and tricks that I'm about to give you guys right now that can help with what's going on with this lower state of being in this perspectives, okay? And that's totally okay if you are in this state of being, okay? I've been there. I go through it. I'm a Scorpio moon, so I feel all the emotions. I have my highs and lows every other day, okay? But I know how to work with the energies. So it's all about knowing how to work with yourself, how to work with your essence and what your essence needs, because everyone has different needs and it's very tailored to that person, okay? So let's go ahead and get to the tips and tricks, and then we will head out. Again, my services are down below. If you have been here until the end, you are a trooper. You are about to change your life for the better, and I respect that, and I respect you. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked watching this video, please give it a like, subscribe if you want more, and also comment down below your experiences, or DM me, because I love to hear other stories. Now, what I don't like, I'm gonna tell you what I don't like though. Problem after problem. I don't know what that's called. Like, I don't know what it's called. Victim mentality. Now that, no ma'am, no sir. Now, if you don't know how to change that, I completely understand. Be honest with yourself. I don't know how to change my victim mindset. You know what I'm saying? I'm only saying that because I had a victim mentality for a really long time. And so therefore I can't really hold space for victim mentalities, because I'm just now, not just now, but I have worked my ass off to not be in that victim mentality anymore. And therefore, if that keeps coming in, I'm just going to tell you straightforward, there's nothing that I can do but be straightforward with you on what's going on. And if you can't handle what I'm telling you, or if you can't handle what I'm saying or what I'm responding to from the victim mentality, then, like, you know, please forgive me. And that's just that. The victim mentality isn't real. It's an illusion to keep you in your box, to keep you in the mind construct that you've been building for years, okay? So I don't mind when people tell me about the experiences that they're going through, or even the situations that they're going through, or the problems that they're going through that they don't know how to, you know, turn around. I don't even mind that. It's just when it becomes excessive. The problem dumping is like non-stop, like, and I don't like that. Like, I can't deal with that energy. I won't allow myself to deal with that energy, just because I've worked my ass off to not do that. And I can't go back. I can't trace myself backwards, because I'm here to help myself and to help, like, my soul, so I can help other people, as well as like what I'm doing right now, just giving free advice. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so tell me about your experiences, but please do not come with me with the victim mentality, okay? I should have just said that. Okay, I love hearing people's experiences. I don't mind, but the victim mentality has to go. It has to go, okay? So those are the things that I want you guys to be mindful of during this season. Again, it's new moon. New moons are all about new beginnings. It's all about birth. It's all about, it's like the start of something new. So new moons are here for you to birth something birth something inside to help you move with it, or maybe portray it externally. You know what I'm saying? It's here to birth the truth, birth the bigger picture, birth what you have been hiding in those deep waters, okay? It is here to start your new beginning of life and getting you prepared for next year, for the new year. So the key tips and tricks that I'm going to give you guys is to stay connected with your soul, stay connected with your essence. And how do you do that? You have to figure out what is your needs. You have to be tailored to your needs. And if you don't know your needs, that's okay. This is a start to figure out. This new moon will birth what you need to acknowledge, to see where you need to go to understand your needs. life is a journey. Your internal self is a journey, okay? So learn how to navigate what you need. And to do that is to spend more time with just yourself. To understand, okay, when the world is not here, when the external world is not here, who am I and what do I like to do? What are my needs? Journaling, of course, can help. If you guys journal, especially with the shadow, a lot of things could be going on. So journaling these, when you journal, you're literally, those emotions are going on into the paper. And then you can read it and understand, okay, this is what I'm going through, and you start observing your patterns, you start observing your behaviors and what you see, what your perspective is from that journal, okay? Also, another thing that you can do is to set a picture of yourself and record your problem, record your situation, even record your celebrations, okay? And play it back behind the picture and act as though you're the therapist of yourself, okay? Because that will give you guys the pleasure, I want to say, the pleasure to look outside, okay? Because you see you see a picture of yourself, and then you also literally can hear yourself, and you are your therapist if you can't afford to go to therapy or get any type of help. Another thing is to be vulnerable with yourself. Do not be hard on yourself. This is a time to really take care of yourself, to really nurture yourself, to really reparent yourself. No one else can fix, or no one else can change anything but you. You are the only one that has, you are responsible for your suffering, okay? You have to be responsible to end the suffering for yourself, your inner child with what she went through, and in order to move forward to bigger and better things for yourself. You have to do that. No one else can do that. No place, thing, person, no one can do that but you, because you are the only person that knows you. You have to validate yourself. You have to hype up yourself. You have to you have to know your worth yourself. Because if you look on the external world for these women to do it, these men to do it, your parents to do it, your friends to do it, you will never get the actual satisfaction that your soul needs, because you're looking externally instead of internally, okay? The world starts within, because everything that you attract, everything that you see is a reflection inside of your own world. We are in this masculine world, but we also have our own worlds, okay? Okay, so we gotta wrap it up because my camera's about to die. During this time, trying new things will really help you guys out. Sagittarius is all about freedom, movement. Dancing would be really will be really good. Crafts, anything that goes deep is really good for Sagittarius. She loves that. Try new things within the environment, try new things within your intellect. Anything new will help Sagittarius and Jupiter to expand, which will allow you to expand. Stillness can help. Again, being by yourself can help to understand your needs and be tailored to your needs as well. Try meditation. If you can't do meditation, that's fine. Just sit for a second for like 10 minutes and just in quietness and see what comes up, okay? Write it down if you want to for a plus. Observe yourself, observe your behaviors, your actions, how you talk to yourself, even your thoughts and your ideas. Ask yourself, get curious, get deep. It's Sagittarius season. Why do I think the way that I think? Why do I project the way I project? Why did I say this thought? Why did I behave this way during this experience? These questions will get you into the door of your success, I promise you, because you're going internally and going into something, into another world that you suppressed, okay? And you're shedding that identity to create the one that you actually are, create the essence of your being. You're listening to yourself, okay? Make it your mission, okay? Make it your mission to become compassionate and patient with yourself, because if you can achieve this with yourself, you can do it for other people, okay? And compassion and patience go a long way, not only with your external or your external world, but these are life skills that you can have that can get you up. If it's up, then it's up, and then, okay. My guides are just too funny. They just like be sending random songs, but yeah, it will really help you be successful if you practice that with yourself. Therefore, you can practice with other people. Make it your mission during the season and during next year, okay? And last but not least, have some fucking fun. Sagittarius is all about freedom, passion. Like, it's a fire sign. It wants to go out and do all this stuff. It's and Jupiter's going direct. It's like, oh, and it's in Pisces. Y'all better have some fun, but in your means, within your means, be reasonable, okay? I really hope you guys loved this video as much as I did. I am so excited to post this. My guides came fucking through for this season, for this video, and I am just so excited for everyone to start new things within themselves and just having like the bigger picture and just getting clarity, okay? Work with this energy. Don't work against it. Don't resist it, because then, you know, you're going to be in the lower states and you're just going to have to work yourself way harder in Capricorn season, because Capricorn does not play, okay? Capricorn is very serious, okay? So while you have some time to have some fun and realize yourself and your needs and what you like to do, be that. Do that. Be yourself. Be your unique self, okay? I love you guys so much. Thank you guys all for watching. I'll see you guys all next Friday, okay?